they're way, way better than it used to be before.
Look, honestly, this is one of the worst things that could ever happen to a people. This is a dangerous situation that we have found ourselves. It's scary. It's many things. Saying that people are dying, and at times you just don't even know why. We can't get to the root cause. A lot of things have been said, but it could actually be a combination of many things. It could be. I think we have an issue with
Just
the
go
feed,
ahead.
right?
Just go ahead.
Yeah, it could be a combination of many, many, many things. Quickly, to address the matter of if the governor is spending the security vote, monthly security vote or not, is spending the vote or not. I don't even think that's the issue. Yes, maybe he's not doing enough as a governor. But do you think because he's not spending money, that's why there's crisis? Oh, he probably could be spending the money on recruiting like a tax force or something, right? I think it's deeper than that, but yeah, that doesn't mean that he has done enough to cover himself in glory and to protect the people, of Benue, whom he swore to protect, when he became governor. But I think it shouldn't be focused on the governor alone. I have seen people show a screen grab of a tweet from President Tinubu. Then he was in opposition, he wasn't a president, where he said, and I'll paraphrase, that the buck stops on the desk of the president. And I think then it was Goodluck Jonathan, president, Goodluck Jonathan, that was the president. If that is the case, what has changed in 2025?
Nothing.
That the buck stops on the governor's table? Nope. It stops on President Bola Tinubu's table. And he also swore to protect, the people of Nigeria. So after all said and done, maybe the local government chairman and the councillors are not living up to, the expectations in the area of security. We can not excuse that, but the buck still stops on president, even if the governor is not living up, even if everybody down that chain of command is not living up. It's the president's job to ensure that every Nigerian is protected and every part of Nigeria is protected.
I know that, yes, that conversation, you're correct. However, because we're not talking about one local government, we're not talking about one tiny thing. Every single person's, I think that every single person's job there will be a shortfall if one person or a few people refuse to do the things they do. And like I said, from the small village head to maybe the king in the area, to the councillor, to the local government chairman, at times it's even you and I, everybody's job at the end of the day. Earlier today, I was watching a video of the former Lagos State governor, and this was a few years ago, when he was advocating for state police, and he was talking about how these are the things that can really, really break the some ranks, and you can't say that the police will do it all by themselves. The Nigerian police will do it all by themselves. Yes, the buck stops at the president's table, but at the end of the day, it's the same way. Oh, we have infrastructure issues, and it's the president. Yes, everything stops at his table, but we also should get to a point where we realize that everybody has a role to play in all these things. Like I said, I think that yes, governors are the chief security officers of the state. I think that compared to some other aspects of the state, maybe you're talking about land, I think security they need a bit more input in the security of the state if they're truly the chief security officer of that state. You can say that maybe in Lagos State, for example, there was the introduction of the RRS that really helped the state. Yes, I agree. However, how much of maybe it's time, and you see, like, take for example the Southwest decided, you know what, they were going to take some matters into their hands, and I think that was what brought about Amotekun. I think that at the end of the day, governors need to be way more creative also in helping their citizens, the safety of citizens, everybody. It's a all hands on deck matter at this point. It's sad. It's sadder and sad that this thing still happened.
I was waiting for you to say something different from what I said. Like, when I said that the buck stops on the president's table.
Yeah, but I said that everybody has a role to play. And
that's why I said that the local government and the councillors, the local government chairman and councillors, the governors all have a role to play. But when they fail, whether they do it or not, who do you think people are going to call out? Go online now. Who are people calling out? How many people have actually called out the chairman of any of those local governments that are affected? Nobody. When people hear this story, look, the Pope was praying about this event a few hours ago.
Yeah.
About this incident. He said Nigeria. He mentioned Benue, Nigeria. When people hear about this outside, are they going to ask for the governor of Benue? Say, who is the governor of Benue where this thing is happening? When you hear about, this mass killings in America, if you're not an American, you just hear, there's a mass killing somewhere in America. You're not asking about the governor of that state or the alderman, or the councilman or whoever. You're actually going to link it to the president of America, because it's under him at the end of the day that these stats will fall, that under you, X number of people were killed and all of that.
No, I get.
So the sad part about all of this is that's why I'm not backing down and I'm calling out the president. Yes, they said that there's some improvement in security, but people are still dying. The sad part is it's innocent people that are dying the most.
Yeah.
It's not people who have gone head to head with weapons. It's people who are sleeping. It's women and children. It's innocent men who are not fighting anybody that get killed. I know that, and the funny thing is, we've been hearing different stories. Some people have implied, there's one big mistake, or shall I say, there's one big conclusion that everybody jumps to. I won't call it a mistake. The instant you hear about this mass killings, you say it's herdsmen. It's not herdsmen in all cases. I'm not saying it is not them in this one. I'm just saying that in most cases, and in some, it's not. Sometimes they're actually communal clashes. Sometimes people are fighting over land. Sometimes people are fighting over some perceived superiority. You get? So that's why we shouldn't be quick to jump on that bandwagon and say herdsmen or no herdsmen. That's one angle to it. The other one is the international terrorists talking about porous borders that Nigeria have. Is it not true? It's true. But they might not even be the cause of this particular matter that we're discussing now at the bar about the Benue killings. But at the end of the day, who has the power to get all that information? The president. Who controls the military and the police? The president. Who gets the briefings from these people? Like, they're not going to call you and me to say, we actually found out that this way. They're going to go to him and his national security advisor and his team.
Yeah.
So, please, because I have noticed, and this is one big problem that Nigerians have, and maybe the president is also culpable, being when he was in opposition, that we politicize matters of national security too much in this country.
Too much.
It happens in other countries, but I'm not concerned about those countries. I'm concerned about Nigeria at the moment. that we politicize matters of national security. If you go into things with the mind of an elder statesman, with the mind of a Nigeria first person, you first understand what's going on. It's except you have proof that they are orchestrated by politicians. If you have proof. If you don't say it.
If you don't, yeah, it's a matter of what's the way forward. That's what we should be. That's what we should be working towards. So interesting news from that. I hope that something is done about it at the moment, and it moves on from that. Now moving on from that quickly, and we're going to a bit of gist from the federal government. Sorry, you done? You fix it. So a bit of conversation from the federal government, and first things first, the federal government, especially from the Ministry of Youth Development, has now announced the youth confab, and they're saying that the portal is officially open right now. They said that there's a registration portal for the National Youth Conference that the president, I think the president I talked about last year, that was going to happen in around February this year. However, the Minister of Youth said that
okay, it's fine.
The Minister of Youth had said that the president did not inaugurate the planning committee until March, but that the portal is now open, and there's a registration deadline that is set for June 30. So Nigerian youth are supposed to go register. I think the confab is going to be virtual, because they're saying that they're going to have 360 around 360 federal constituencies, and they're looking at about 36,000 participants, meaning that you're looking at about 100 people per federal constituency. And so I'm guessing it's going to be virtual, but what he's saying is that that is not just going to be all talk. And I see a few people already talking about, just going to have a conversation again and all that. However, my own outlook to some of these things is, if you can, you never know which of these things would actually ever get implemented. So if that's the only way you can say for a fact that, okay, this is what I contributed. This is my own quota that I contributed. So I really urge, and I hope that people can register as much as you can.
I'm torn, it's a two-way thing for me. Do we need this kind of event? I think we do. A lot of events have happened like this in the past, even down to constitutional amendments and all sorts of committees and stuff, conferences. My biggest issue with all of this is that at times, whatever happens there never really gets anything going.
Yeah.
For instance, you get to take certain decisions, but they're not bound by law. You get, except they're able to actually promise that the far-reaching decisions that might be taken there would be passed on to the assembly for deliberation and action. We need to keep talking, I get that, but too much talk without action just doesn't cut it for me, and with the past experiences, you start to wonder, is this another jamboree, or is this maybe the real deal? I was going through my archives, was it yesterday, and I saw a video of a conference, something similar, but a smaller one, that I think happened in Malawi sometime last year or so, before the elections there, where the sitting president had called the youth, some of the popular ones, and there was a young man that got up, I think it was an artist, got up and spoke truth to power without being disrespectful, but very impactful. Do you understand? Now, if the president walks the talk, he says, "Look, criticize me," and their critics are at times your best advisors and everything. I'm paraphrasing. If that is it, then this conference will be worth it. It will be something that Nigerian youth would need and would benefit from. I've always felt that for any government to succeed, yes, you have your own plans. You know, you have a manifesto. You come out and tell people the things you want to do. But I think the most impactful things will always come from the people.
People, yeah.
I like when some people get into government and they go on a fact-finding mission. But at times, some of those fact-finding missions are also tailored in a certain way. Even if the governor or the president has good intentions, the people leading, they can lead him to places where they wonder, oh, is this road that is the worst in the world? Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, there's something that is even worse than that. I'm trying to say that if you can tap into that resource where people actually tell you what's going on, there will be success.
There will be.
Because it's what the people need the most that you will be tackling. You know, you will prioritize, and that brings success.
Okay, so basically, we're going to be still moving on from that. The federal government has now also announced that they've now conducted the first ever National Common Entrance Examination into Technical and Vocational Education and Training Class 1. And you know why I'm particularly happy about this? In the past couple of months, there's been a lot of talk about people coming into technical schools, how the federal government is taking a lot of them over, how they're going to be paying them, how there's stipends, how they're encouraging more people to go to. And I think that it's like Esther just said, is walking the talk. Like, okay, we had said these things will be done, and now, as we can see, they're now being done. Sorry. So they're now they're now getting it done. So officially, from the Director of Technology and Science Education, they've announced that they had a monitoring exercise held June 14th, 2025, and there were about a total of 29,256 candidates nationwide that participated in federal and state entrance examinations for the federal and state technical colleges.
Yeah, that's progress. Sounds like progress to me. One of the biggest issues that we've always had is manpower. You know, on the one hand, we have people who are we have a high unemployment rate. Mm-hmm. I believe we do. Statistically, we do. But on the other hand, we have unemployable manpower.
I agree.
You know, so one of the biggest mistakes that was made in the world was when everybody was channeled into the same funnel. Like, you poured everybody into the same cup. Go to school, get good grades, get a degree, get a good job, pay your taxes, pay your taxes, pay your fines when you incur them, and die. Abi, as against allowing a system that can tap into your resource, your strengths, to say, based on assessments, this person should be in a technical school, this person should be in a medical school, this one should be in a sports university. Like, if we actually are serious about government, we will rejig education. Then we will now have a large mass of employable people, and who can actually even go out of Nigeria, because we plenty for Nigeria, to even earn forex that they will remit to their families, and by extension, to the Nigerian economy.
It's interesting. I like this specifically because now there are a lot of people that are going to go into the schools and they're going to get proper education. It's not just, you are going to go and learn it. No. We're not. We're in 2025. Even if what we want to call trade, there should still be proper education for these things. So it's interesting from that angle. Now we're going to the courts. So we're going to be talking about a bit of the issues in courts quickly. Court has granted Former CBN Governor Godwin Emefiele 2 billion naira bail over possession of a 753 those housing estates in Abuja.
Carry on now.
You're not saying anything to me.
You are not done. When you are done, I will know.
Okay, so I'm done with that.
No, you are not. You cannot be. You must not be.
Why can't I be?
You shall not be.
Why not?
Oh yeah, carry on.
Anyway, just wanted to put this out there. President Tinubu has said that he's clearing his schedule at the moment, and that he will be in Benue on Wednesday to visit the people himself. Honestly,
we don't need that information. We don't need that piece of information. I don't care. What I care about is that you are proactive in your governance, that the lives of people at times will supersede your schedule, that we stop paying lip service to insecurity. Those are the things that I care about. My name is Shola Rogers, and that's where I stand.
Anyway,
I also hate the fact that, it's now looking like, it's because people were clamoring for it. You see, sir.
Do you
understand?
Were clamoring for it? I didn't know that.
Do you understand? They're telling you that, for instance, the Pope had already prayed about it at Mass before there was an official statement from the Nigerian government. Do you understand how this makes you look? You have all these media aides that could have put together a press statement on your behalf, like they do for every other world leader. Do you understand? There are a whole lot of things that could have been done differently, sir. I'm just saying that let it not be like it's because people are saying, you don't care. You're not showing enough. Let it be that you actually do care and you're showing it.
Okay, now back to a bit of gist from the courts. The courts has now rejected the federal government's application for a bench warrant against Senator Natasha. Basically, the federal government wanted her arrested today because she was not in court today. But the proceedings, she and a lawyer had only just gotten the notice this morning. So the judge was like, really? That they used to arrest people. Let's be calming down.
Okay, so court cases here and there. Natasha Akpoti, bench warrant refused. Yeah, I think I agree with the judge. You need to give people adequate notice before you can now even come to say they didn't appear where they were supposed to appear.
Yeah.
So again, is it that the judiciary is really living up to its billing, or is this a change, a different trend? Or is it a tactic by the prosecutors to delay that information and maybe make you look bad? I'm just asking questions, actually. I'm not positing in any form. But after all said and done, the fact of the matter will still be presented in court one way or the other. And I'm still waiting because she says she has proof. She's actually the one that's supposed to be on the offensive. She's the one that's supposed to be suing for sexual harassment. She hasn't done that till now.
Yeah.
She hasn't done that till now.
Anyway.
And that gives me a headache. Before you leave the court, you talked about a judgment that puts a hold on the 750-something or 53 houses that were allegedly belonged. It's not even alleged anymore. For him to go to court to say they can't take over his assets.
It's bail. It's bail for the case. That was what he got.
Okay.
That's the one I talked about.
You didn't talk about the fact that there's a stay on that one.
No.
Okay, sorry.
I didn't talk about
Go ahead. It's just that I'm not a big fan of the man, and I still wonder how someone who has worked in that sector all his life has made so much money to own all these assets in the first place. Those are the questions that we should be asking.
So at this point, I think the man is going to have to be doing photocopy of his travel documents because right now he's granted bail of 2 billion naira. He's supposed to look for two shorties in like sum, and they will have to have property worth 2 billion naira either in Asokoro, Maitama, or Wuse 2 within the jurisdiction of the court. and he's also supposed to submit his travel documents. I was going to say, and then the judge had said that all these have to be perfected by Wednesday. If it's not perfected, he will be remanded in custody. So
don't be surprised that someone of his stature will meet these bail conditions.
Yeah, I'm not.
Don't be surprised.
I won't.
Don't let it shock you.
Surprised. I'm just saying that. So are these travel documents? You know that he already has like 3 other cases that he submitted travel documents. So do photocopy so that.
You know, all this travel document thing doesn't even matter. So person we want gas, go gas. Person we want best, go best. Person we want move, go move. You don't understand? All these things when I talk, nah, cho. If we're serious, this is the man. These are the allegations. Why are we postponing? Bring it to court. We need to pass a bill that says these cases should be expedited. Do you understand? Do your research and your investigation for 3 to 6 months. Then let the case open. In fact, we don't even need that much. We just go and count the number of houses. Start with that case, then move to the other cases.
Then we move, Abby. Anyway, let's move on from that. And this conversation, I wanted us to talk about it. Sadly, I didn't even remember to put it on the. It's not on our headlines, but there are quite a number of updates from the matter of Airpeace and Governor Oshiomhole. Now, it looks like the conversation has moved from Governor Oshiomhole. So earlier today, I don't know if you saw a video that I sent to you. I don't know if you've seen that video where people were in a plane and they were lamenting, I think, how the plane moved from Port Harcourt, that they were going to Benin, but they stopped at Enugu. And, you know, as I was watching it this morning, I saw a few comments and they say, oh, it's normal for people to do stopover. I say, hold up, are we in a downfall system? Is it downfall that's cemetery? Is it Lagos Yellow Bus cemetery? Yeah, do we have stopovers on planes? Yes. But as at the time I buy the ticket, shouldn't you tell me that there's going to be a stopover? Take, for example, I'm going to the US. I decide to go through, what's it called? BA, yeah? I use their, whatever. And then I know as I buy the tickets that they're going to stop in London. It's common sense, yeah? It's okay. I want to go to the same US and I buy Delta Air. Delta Airline cannot tell me that you are going to stop in Morocco. It's not possible because I bought a ticket that is taking me straight to the place. And I'm like, what do we see in this country? And that video, a lot of people were complaining because they had already been delayed for hours. Now, this is the same Airpeace. Over the weekend, Mr. Peter Obi decided to endorse. And I'm like, was this, what's it called? Was this endorsement necessary? Did you need this endorsement? Did you need to be an influencer for them? Because that thing definitely looked like it. I'm sorry, I don't know if you were paid, but it looked like it was when you're being paid to advertise for somebody. And with all the drama that has happened, I've seen a lot of people now come out to talk about how, in fact, I think I saw a post yesterday, a long post where someone was saying, politicians are very quick to, politicians were, they're easy targets to insult and say, so everybody automatically thought that Senator Oshiomhole was at fault. But now there's a lot more revelation coming out with this thing. I'm like, okay.
None of these things are new to me. I have experienced it all. I've said it here before now. We set out to go to Owerri. We landed in Port Harcourt, Enugu, flew over Owerri, then back to Lagos. Then they refused to give us a refund until we showed them pepper. So, look, the Nigerian airspace, the aviation sector, has just papered over too many cracks for many years. A lot of people have been extorted. It's actually like the norm. It's the norm. You get, and after all the accolades that some of the airlines got, they started, maybe it got to their head and they started getting worse. The sad part is, it is now that things are about to get better for them. Now that, the BASAs here and there have been signed. Now that they're about to get aircrafts like other people are getting.
They are moving mad.
And now that they're really messing up and all of that. The pain that you will feel, the losses that you will incur. I've slept in the airport because of them. Not because we don't get money for hotel or we don't get money for Uber to go out. But because a 4 o'clock flight did not leave Abuja until almost 11 o'clock. It was past 10, almost 11. Then we get to Lagos and they're like, there are no cabs actually. Got to Lagos almost 12 midnight. Apart from 1 or 2 people that had cars waiting for them. The rest of us all stayed in the terminal till 5 a.m. in the morning when we saw the first cab come through. Why? People suffered. People were sleeping on the floor. Now, anybody that can afford to fly in Nigeria is not a poor person.
Yeah.
It's not. Anybody. The cheapest flight you will find in this country now is close to $100.
Yeah, about 150,000. Yeah.
So anybody that can afford to do that.
That's probably the cheapest you'll get around.
Yeah. So let's not even go there. So why is this happening? It's because we have always kept quiet about it. If there was a class action suit against any of these airlines, Air Peace is the one everybody's talking about. But there are several airlines.
Oh man, I don't even think any of them is better. Action, I think that a lot.
If there's a class action now, the entire space will shut down.
It will. Yes, I agree with you. I agree with that. So I think that the ministry also needs to really look into the investigation they say they're doing. They need to do it quickly. We all know the gist, but let them do the investigation they want to do. Anyway, just wanted to talk about a few conversations. First, in India. India. A 25-year-old Nigerian woman, Ifeoluwa Akinwumi, in India, has been arrested for alleged drug trafficking. She was in possession of about 5.325 kilograms of MDMA crystals. That's worth about 1.8 billion naira. India, don't you think you are too far from home before they come and say, let me be quiet.
1.8 billion naira worth, that's maybe the street value of those things.
Yeah.
When if this person has succeeded now and she gets her own cut, I'm not sure she's the main person. Maybe she gets some millions and comes back and starts to flex on Instagram. You now start blaming. You'll be blaming your father that worked hard and your mother that was innocent.
Yeah, you say
of all charges. Because they have found a way around the system by stealing it blind, either as politicians or as criminals. One way or the other, they might be even the same. So the thing is that I like it when these stories break. It hurts that a Nigerian is involved and it always rubs up negatively on us. But again, let the long arm of the law catch up with them and deal with them.
From your father's house.
Where do you think
to India?
They were always going to take it out.
India.
Shebi, I don't think India even has as strict punishment.
You did not go to
like some countries.
Shout out to Benin Republic and Ghana. I'm not saying that you should take drugs there, but I'm like, that is even if they want to repatriate you and they want to have mercy on you,
the criminal-minded one has spoken again.
They'll say, a fellow West African, let them even pity you and maybe temper justice with mercy. India, be gone, you are gone. You are a goner. Just wanted to put it out there. That's all. Anyway, a sad story happened in Anambra State around 9:40 p.m. yesterday, and the story is that a police officer's 10-year-old shot him and he died.
The 10-year-old shot
his father. Yes. So
on Father's Day.
Yeah. So the officer was on duty at Polaris Bank. Now, what I don't understand is that he had his 10-year-old and his 6-year-old with him
at work.
Yes, at 9:40 p.m. Apparently, the safety of his gun was not on. His 10-year-old picked it up and mistakenly fired it, shot him in the spine, and the same bullet hit the younger one.
Oh, so 2 people died.
So the other one, the 6-year-old, got gunshot injuries in his back and his right hand.
Jesus.
The boy is still in ICU, but was said the father was brought in dead.
This is as sad as they come, isn't it?
It is.
Look, thoughts and prayers with the family. It's a bad time like this. That poor boy at 10 years old will probably carry this for the rest of his life. I don't think he can be charged with any offense or anything. The man in himself, sadly, he's gone. You know, there are too many questions. Why do you have kids with you?
Yeah, so apparently they're saying that they were visiting him. He had 3 sons. Night. I don't know. I don't understand. So there was a 10-year-old, there was an 8-year-old, and there was a 6-year-old. It was said that the unknown to the first son, his father's AK-47 rifle had been loaded with 30 rounds and had been negligently cocked and left without the safety on.
Exactly. Those are the things. Like, one, why are kids visiting their father
at that time
of the day? At work, at a bank. What if something went wrong and some crazy assailants had come at them? They'll be in the line of fire. Again, it's sad though. I don't know. It's really sad.
Yeah, it's really sad.
This is sad.
It's a really sad story. Very, very sad story. Also, Lagos State government has now basically is warning communities that live close to rivers and lagoons about the dangerous flash floods. There's talks of the rise in the water levels going on Third Mainland Bridge now. There's already talks of a major increase in the water levels there and all that. So people just need to be careful. Or more like stop building beside river.
It is well. Here we go again. Mother Nature will still just have a way. They say water will always find its level, right?
Yep, it is. It definitely
I still believe, that I know it's expensive, but there are things that can be done to mitigate the effects of these things, or more or less even curtail or control it. But trust me, when rain really wants to do its thing, it does it.
It will do it.
A few days, was it yesterday at the weekend, some parts of America were hit by flooding and people actually did lose their lives. South Africa felt the pinch a few days ago too. So I get that though. But I'm just optimistic that one day mankind might just be able to
solve most of these issues. Now, moving on from that quickly, Dangote refinery is set to begin nationwide fuel and diesel distribution from August 15th.
This is one of the best things that I, as a non-aligned person, can actually hear. I know the Fuel Tanker Drivers Association. What was that their name again? They wouldn't like to hear this kind of stuff.
Some marketers are not.
I know that the marketers would not like it. But come to think of it, it just makes it easier for you to get your supply, doesn't it?
Yep.
Do you understand? So why wouldn't you like it?
Why wouldn't you like it? Yeah.
And it basically breaks the monopoly that those tanker drivers had. Again, the type of vehicles that is going to be deploying are in a better condition, and they'll be using CNG majorly, which means hopefully, the cost of shipping them will not be that great.
Will not be as much.
I'm wondering why he has not also looked at the rails. We really need to tap into the existing rail network. And yeah, hopefully, again, this will lead to lower cost of the pump price of petrol, diesel, and all
maybe in other states,
allied products.
Yeah, maybe in other states. Now moving on from that, there are quite a number of things we're going to talk about, but I wanted us to go pivot a little bit to the FIFA Club World Cup. So there's quite a number of, I think, about 30 something clubs that are involved in this. It's official. It started yesterday, and a few matchups. We saw a few draws and a lot of goals. Now, as of yesterday, the game started with Al Ahly and Inter Miami. That ended 0-0. Well, there was also Palmeiras and FC Porto that also ended 0-0. Yeah, it's okay. Next thing, PSG and Atletico Madrid. That was one that I'm not sure a lot of people thought was going to end in a lot of goals. At this point, PSG is on a roll. They defeated Atletico Madrid 4-0.
It's shocking, looking at the quality of Atletico.
Yeah.
But again, like the Lupo said, they're on a roll. They're
European champions
they're
at the moment.
really showing that, look, man, we are the best. We did not win by fluke, and we have one of the best set of players ever. And they're making it work. They have a young team now, and it's really looking good for them.
It's good that they grow together. And then if you thought you saw 4-0 and you thought it was going to end, nope. Bayern Munich said, hold my cup.
Yeah.
And that ended in a 10-0, defeating Auckland City FC. At this point, I know that, it's not good for ratings and all that to forfeit your games and forfeit competitions. But after defeating me 10-0, that maybe that's why I don't know how to play sports. I don't think my mental health will be able to carry it.
Thank God sportsmen don't think like you.
Because, are you kidding? 10 goals?
I remember when Nigeria did 13-0 at the Under-17 World Cup a couple of years ago. And there's been some outrageous scorelines, but not in 2025, not at a World Cup, because the new expanded FIFA World Cup is actually like a proper World Cup. We're talking about 32 clubs from across all the world.
10 goals.
But this also shows you the gulf in quality and the gulf in standard when it comes to Europe and the rest of the world. 10-0, man, because the Auckland team are there as the best from their own region.
And you not see that. You know nothing. Nothing. Anyway, the games today have already started as we speak. Botafogo has beaten Seattle Sounders 2-1. There's also going to be quite a number of games today. There's Boca Juniors are going to be playing Benfica today. We're going to be seeing that. One other very interesting one is that Chelsea is going to be playing today with Los Angeles FC at 8 p.m.
It's going to be interesting. It's a kind of time for Chelsea also to show, how big they are.
But I like I said, I think that this one, we're going to be seeing quite a very interesting nominations, movals and all that. By the time you get to quarterfinals and, all the big boys are now, people that want to get out are gone out. Then will now win some badass football.
This Club World Cup also means a lot of money for the clubs. A lot.
Oh, yes.
A lot of it. No club is coming here that is not going home with millions of dollars. I think they budgeted about $1 billion. I just don't know why they said there will be no third place playoff. I'm wondering what's the rationale behind that. Why don't we have first, second, third? I don't know.
Really?
I don't know.
Why not? Why though? Because
why not? Why won't we know who's third and who's fourth?
Sure though. Anyway, we'll see where all that is going to. It's going to be, at least it's a break from. I won't say a break. At least it's what we're going to get at least before the regular club football comes back on ground. Now, moving on from that, a bit of entertainment news, as Olamide has now shared his track list of his upcoming album, his self-titled upcoming album. There are quite a number of, collaborations.
It's dropped 1 or 2 singles already. Kai with Wizkid is already out there. It's bouncing, doing very well. And 99 was dropped last week, Thursday. That one had, as Shay Vibes, Ashake, Young John, and Dialcom. I think it's British. And it's a very good song. And again, there's another one with Shay Vibes again.
I think there's another one with Whiskey.
Then there's a Dr. Dre collaboration somewhere with Spinall or something.
Yeah, there's, I think, with Bodge.
There's
looking
something
forward
with
to this. It's Olamide, so it's definitely something to
coming
look forward
from
to.
A guy that was threatening us before that is not dropping album again.
Maybe that's why he named this one his name. So maybe there's no more music coming again.
That talent where you get,
it's not going anywhere anytime soon.
Nah.
Anyway, before we leave all that, Davido has now announced the cancellation of his London Stadium show over saying that there were a bit of organizational problems in his statement. He ended with, I think Africa must be respected or something.
So I think that's not exactly correct, because what I saw first is that the show was supposed to be 50 Cent, Mary J. Blige, and Davido.
Yeah.
So I don't think he was the main organizer. So I don't think he can cancel something that he wasn't the main organizer.
So more like he's pulled out of the show.
Let's say he pulled out. Some people are alleging that he was kicked out, like that they were like, they didn't want him. That's what some angle to the whole story. And of course he's responded because he's on a world tour. He has an amazing album out now, and that song With You is crazy. That song,
numbers.
I think that song is already song of the year, in my opinion. That song is really, really good. And so he said he's going to organize his own London thing on a standalone. So that starts to look like, okay, maybe what the other people are saying is more of true when you say that Africa must be respected. So maybe something went wrong between himself and 50 Cent and the organizers of the show and all of that. I think it's 50 Cent's show, more or less.
Okay, now let's move on from that. And let's talk about something that happened over the weekend. And it's with a bit of politics. So I think the Northeast APC had a stakeholders meeting, and it kind of was a little rowdy.
Mm-hmm.
And why did it become rowdy? It was said that one of the leaders had talked about endorsing the president, and he did not mention the vice president. And there's this conversation, I don't know if it's Bepalogist, about how the president might drop the vice president for next elections.
So, politics is very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And at times, there's no smoke without fire. At times, there is. So, you be the judge. Going by the president's antecedents, in the past, he actually worked with 3 deputy governors. He had Kofo Bucknor. Then he had Femi Pedro. Then he had there's a Baba that I love me. I keep forgetting his name. That at least he was deputy governor for a few weeks or a few months. You get. Now, but the context is that he already had a falling out with Kofo Bucknor from the get.
So you say it was because of the falling out.
There was a falling out.
So now, is there a falling out?
None.
So
that's why I'm saying that a lot of people can build on that. This context that I'm trying to establish here.
Yeah.
And again, there was a falling out with Femi Pedro. Because I remember when Femi Pedro actually crossed to another party and he was going to be deputy, he was going to be a governorship candidate of a different party.
Yeah, so I get your point. Like,
so then he was impeached. I know they've reversed that impeachment now and all of that, but context is important. Mm-hmm. Now, was there an oversight by the so-called leader that mentioned that they are endorsing Tinubu? And you know that this is his region. This is Shettima's region.
Shettima's region, yeah.
And you would do that? Was it deliberate? Was it also maybe an indirect way to cause trouble for them? Because it's all politics at the end of the day. So we'll just keep watching, because again, you cannot speak too much on matters of politics, because politicians, now then they change powers.
Yeah. It will stay your white. Anyway, moving on from that, let's just go through a bit of international stories before we leave. Oil prices are now rising as the Israel-Iran crisis has extended to the 4th day.
What this basically means now is that our pump price that we're enjoying is definitely going up.
It looks like it's going up, yeah.
And it's not a good thing. And at some point, if it continues like that, government would have to intervene. I'm telling you.
Yeah, G7 leaders are also set to meet in Canada to also talk about all these wars left and right.
It's funny how we have enough resources for wars, but there are still many, many hungry and homeless people.
It's time to say,
it's funny though.
Can I just ask
It's funny.
Please help us to beg Israel. It's okay. We get it. Like, we get it. We know you do. Just, let's just.
If we're even going to crack jokes about it, please beg both of them. Because We don't want this.
You know why I'm even saying Israel is because looks like Israel say, okay, maybe apart from Hamas here, they just want to escalate things. Can we just like it's time to like
whichever country she just mentioned, I am not discussing it. I am back to my not mentioning that country's name. No, I don't have strength.
Oh my God. Anyway, U.S. President Donald Trump is ordering a deportation increase. We know increase actually. There's he's really having issues with LA and New York and all that. But he's saying, you know what, I'm going to deport more people.
But that's contrary to what he said a few moments ago, a day or two ago. So again, they've had this systemic targeting of certain areas, and now you're hearing him say things like, "Oh, the farmers are being affected because the bulk of the farm work is being done by undocumented people. And you've deported a lot of them." And according to him, he's now saying, "Oh, they've been around for 20 years. Yes, they might not have their papers, but they are good people and they're working hard, so they're not going to the farms anymore." Really, sir? Really? Excuse me, where are you? Which one is you again? Okay. Look, y'all just need to chill on this matter. I do not support illegal immigrants in any way. I don't. But double standards?
Yeah.
Deport them now. Let's see.
Anyway, an Air India jet has also now returned to Hong Kong this morning due to technical issues after takeoff.
Air India, I don't even know what to believe anymore about the airline. Saw some videos in the last 2 days. Bearing in mind that a lot of people just died, but you're now seeing videos. I hope those things are AI generated, because there's a flight that had water dripping from this. And I'm like, oh. So there are a lot of things that people are saying about Air India now that I don't even understand.
Yeah, sadly. And our thoughts, our prayers are with people of Peru, as an earthquake has now killed one person and injured 36 more people. It definitely is a lot. Now, anyway, on that note, that is all we have to take today on The Bar. Thank you for listening. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be back again tomorrow at 3 p.m. West African time to give you another wonderful edition of The Bombard. Do have a beautiful, beautiful day ahead.